In Africa, there once lived a man and many others who were the envy of the people in Europe. These men and their greatness were not mentioned in my history books back in Jamaica. The reality is that much of the history seemed to be missing. The history taught in the United States and the Caribbean often forgets to include elements in our history that would make us proud. Knowing these stories and the stories of others will allow us to have a greater understanding of the level of greatness that Africa experienced, and it must be transmitted from one generation to the next. So I want every black person near or far, and those individuals who are white, to share this presentation so others can learn about the history of Africa, about Africa's richness, its intellect, its dominance. And let me say, the truth be told, the continent of Africa experienced levels of productivity and wealth and excellence before its demise. This place of focus for this journey will be the Asian kingdom of Mali, which had broad boundaries that covered Senegal, Gambia, Nigeria, and other areas. This learning journey will also focus on the life of Mansa Musa, the Empire of Mali. Today, Mansa Musa is recognized as one of the richest men to ever walk the face of this earth, because this ruler at one point made Mali become the most significant state in Africa. Let us repeat the name Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa, because he was the African ruler who became widely known in Europe and in the Middle East. It is believed that Mansa Musa was born in 1280 into a powerful family. Mansa Musa became the ruler of Mali after King Abdul Bakar II went to sea and did not return. It is suggested that Mansa Musa did not claim the throne by a family line, but suggestions might have been by Abdul Bakar if he did not return for Mansa Musa to take over. Mansa Musa inherited a kingdom that was already prosperous. He did well by expanding on what he was given or left behind. His wealth increased based on massive deposits of gold and salt in Mali. The reality is that Mansa Musa controlled the gold in the region, and within this control there was a demand for gold in Europe. Based on the locality of Mali, Mansa Musa was able to control also the trading routes. Mansa Musa converted to Islam and conducted his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324. He left his son in charge as he made the journey. Records indicate that he had a large entourage which included over 60,000 men. In the same number, there were 12,000 slaves. These slaves were dressed in beautiful Persian silk. Based on the research, it is estimated that he had over 500 slaves who carried a golden staff. The research indicates that Mansa Musa carried with him over 300 pounds of gold. And on this trip, he also had an army, camels, elephants, and 80 camels carried his gold. Much of the gold that Mansa Musa carried was given away as gift. It is said that he stopped at various points, and at certain points he gave royal officers a load of gold. Mansa Musa left so much gold behind that after leaving Cairo and they started to spend, the gold value fell. As a matter of fact, it is stated that the value of gold was depressed for 12 years. Mansa Musa's trip to and back from Mecca took 1 year. It is said that during Mansa Musa's reign, Mali became the most prosperous kingdom in Africa. During this time, more ideas regarding trade with North Africa, Spain, Egypt, and other countries emerged. Mansa Musa was seen back in his time as a leader with wisdom. He was efficient, and one of his greatness was his commissioning of some of the most outstanding architectural structures in Timbuktu. Yes, Timbuktu is a real place. These grand buildings would set the stage and the framework for Timbuktu to become the center of learning. In summary, he built schools, he built universities, he built libraries. Many historians believe that Mansa Musa transformed the kingdom into an attractive place for learning. This is a point in Africa's history that highlights a period of vibrant art and culture. Overall, art and culture and poetry were essential aspects of this culture. Historians believe that Mansa Musa had an army that had over 100,000 soldiers with 10,000 horses. His army executed plans that increased Mansa Musa's ownership of land. It is estimated that over 22 cities were captured during his reign. After 50 years of making his pilgrimage to Mecca, he was still being shown as wearing his gold crown and his golden scepter in his hand. After his death, the empire was devolved to his son. His son died 4 years later. Based on research, the decline of the Mali Empire took place between 1360 and 1390. This happened in Africa. Yes, Mali was a center of learning. Let us now explore what was happening in Europe at this time when Africa was having its greatness. During the same period of excellence in Africa, Europe was in its late Middle Ages. This was a time when society in Europe was simple, when nobles were at the top and the peasants were at the bottom. It was a time of famine and plague. It was a time for revolt by peasants. It was a time of servitude. As many historians and scholars put it, it was a time when Europe's prosperity stood still. It was a time when there was depopulation and extensive warfare. So while Africa was experiencing one of its highest points, Europe was experiencing a difficult and dark time.
It is believed that when Mansa Musa's pilgrimage took place, people in Europe heard about it. And as a matter of fact, it was what caught the European eyes. When the Portuguese first set sail down the coast of Africa in the 15th century, it was not for enslaved people, but it was a quest to find wealth, and to find the wealth that Mansa Musa had found. And this would set the stage for another segment in our history.
The demise of the once mighty continent created a pathway for exploitation. Today, Mali, a place that was once envied by Europe, is poor. It has an inadequate healthcare system. There is constant conflict and problems with terrorism. There's also political unrest and instability. However, let's not forget the greatness of Mali, its culture and its wealth. The coming of the Europeans set the stage for the greatest travesty in human history, the transatlantic slave trade. Let us always remember the name Mansa Musa. Let us share the story of the greatness of Mansa Musa and the continent of Africa. We should all be proud of this connection. The learning journey will continue to bridge gaps that are at times missing in our history. Please see the description of the video to gain more information on what was presented. Pass the video along. I am Ruhan Jawala, and thanks for watching.